The Enchiridion by Epictetus, Part 2. Section 26. You can learn what nature wants by looking at things everyone agrees on. When your neighbor's cup breaks, you naturally say, "These things happen." When your own cup breaks, you should react the same way. Apply this to bigger things. If someone else's spouse or child dies, everyone says, "That's life." But when our own die, we cry, "Poor me." We should remember how we react when these things happen to others. Section 27. Just as a target isn't set up to be missed, evil doesn't exist in the world for its own sake. Section 28. If someone handed your body over to any stranger you met, you'd be angry. But you hand over your mind to anyone who comes along, letting them fill it with worry, fear, and confusion. Aren't you ashamed of that? Section 29. Before starting anything, think about what it really requires and where it will lead. Otherwise, you'll start with excitement, but quit shamefully when you face the real challenges. I want to win an Olympic medal, you might say. But think it through first. You'll need to follow strict rules, stick to a strict diet, give up your favorite foods, exercise daily whether you feel like it or not, train in both heat and cold, follow a strict lifestyle. Basically, hand your life over to your coaches and trainers. Even then, you might get injured, face defeat, endure pain, and still not win. If after considering all this, you're still committed, then go for it. But don't be like those people who jump from one thing to another. Today wanting to be an athlete, tomorrow a musician, then a business leader, then a social media influencer, just because they saw someone successful and thought, "I could do that." Like a child playing pretend, nothing is serious or lasting. You need to understand what you're getting into and what you're truly capable of. Want to be a top professional in any field? Look hard at your capabilities and what the role demands. You can't just eat whatever you want, stay up late, get angry whenever you feel like it, and still expect to achieve greatness. You'll need to practice discipline, control your impulses, maybe lose some friends, face criticism, deal with setbacks, often come in last while learning, and miss out on some of life's pleasures. Only after considering all this, decide if you're willing to pay the price for what you want, whether that's success, peace of mind, or freedom. If not, don't start. Don't bounce between being a professional one day, an entrepreneur the next, then a public speaker, then a government worker. You need to be one thing, either committed to your goals or not. Either focus on developing your inner strength or chase external rewards. Be either dedicated to your path or remain one of the crowd. Section 30. Your responsibilities come from your relationships. If someone is your parent, that means certain things, caring for them, showing respect, accepting their guidance and criticism, even when it's hard. But what if they're a difficult parent? Well, your duty isn't based on how good they are at their role. It comes from the relationship itself. If your sibling treats you unfairly, focus on maintaining your own integrity in that relationship. Don't get caught up in their actions. Concentrate on how you should behave to stay true to your principles. Remember, others can only upset you if you let them. You're only truly hurt when you decide to take it personally. Think about all your relationships this way: as a neighbor, as a member of your community, as someone in charge, or someone being led. From each of these connections, you'll understand what you need to do. Section 31. Here's what it means to respect and honor the divine. Believe that a higher power exists and runs the universe fairly and well. Choose to accept what happens and follow this path willingly, knowing it comes from perfect wisdom. This is the only way to avoid getting angry at God or feeling abandoned. To do this, You need to stop trying to control things you can't control. Focus only on what you can actually change. If you start thinking other things are good or bad, you'll end up bitter and blame others when things don't go your way. It's natural. Everyone tries to avoid what hurts them and chase what helps them. If you think someone hurt you, you can't be happy about them or what they did. This is why kids get mad at parents who don't give them what they want. It's why two brothers can become enemies fighting over power. It's why farmers curse when crops fail, why sailors get angry in storms, why merchants complain about losses, and why people get angry at God when loved ones die. What we care about shapes what we believe in. If you can learn to want the right things and reject the wrong things, you'll naturally develop true faith. Show your respect through the traditions of your culture. Not too much, not too little, just honestly and sincerely. Section 32. When you ask someone to predict your future, remember, you're there because you don't know what will happen, but you already know what kind of situation you're dealing with. If it's something you can't control, it can't be truly good or bad. Don't bring your hopes and fears when you ask for guidance. They'll just make you anxious. Instead, understand that whatever happens, you can handle it well. No outcome can really harm you if you approach it right. Then you can ask for guidance with a clear mind. Take Socrates' advice. Only ask for predictions when you truly have no way to figure something out on your own. When your friend or your community needs help in a dangerous situation, don't ask whether you should help. Just help. Even if someone warns you that you might die, get hurt, or lose everything, do what's right. Remember, even the gods reject those who abandon their friends. Section 33. Set some basic rules for how you'll act, both when you're alone and with others. Stay quiet most of the time. When you need to talk, keep it brief. It's okay to join conversations when appropriate, but avoid common gossip topics like sports, entertainment, or food and drink. Especially avoid talking about other people. Don't criticize them, praise them, or compare them to others. If you can, try to guide conversations toward meaningful topics. If you're with people you don't know well, it's better to listen than talk. Don't laugh too loud or too much. Try not to make promises you might break. If you can avoid making promises altogether, even better. Stay away from cheap entertainment and crowds. If you have to go, stay alert so you don't get pulled into bad behavior. Remember, even if you have strong values, spending time with people who don't will eventually affect you. For basic needs like food, drink, clothing, and housing, get what you need, nothing more. Skip anything that's just for show. Before marriage, avoid inappropriate relationships. Don't judge others who make different choices, and don't brag about your own behavior. If someone tells you that another person criticized you, don't defend yourself. Instead say, "They must not know about my other flaws, or they would have mentioned those too." Don't spend too much time at public events. When you do go, focus on yourself. Accept things as they are and hope the best person wins. Don't get caught up in shouting, making fun of others, or getting too emotional. Afterward, don't waste time talking about what happened. It shows you got too caught up in it. When meeting someone, especially someone important, think about how a wise person would handle it. If you're going to meet someone powerful, be prepared. They might be busy. You might not get in, or they might ignore you. If you need to go anyway, accept whatever happens. Don't say, "It wasn't worth it." That shows you're too worried about things you can't control. In groups, don't keep telling stories about yourself and your challenges. Even if you enjoy sharing your experiences, others might not enjoy hearing them. Don't try too hard to be funny. It can make you look bad and lose others' respect. If someone starts saying inappropriate things, speak up against it, or at least show you disapprove by staying quiet and serious. Section 34. When something tempting comes up, don't rush into it. Take a step back and think it through. Consider 2 moments: how you'll feel while doing it and how you'll feel afterward. Compare that with how good you'll feel if you show self-control. Even if it seems like the right time to indulge, be careful of getting carried away. Think about how proud you'll be if you make the wiser choice. Section 35. When you're sure you're doing the right thing, don't hide it, even if others might not understand. If you're doing something wrong, don't do it at all. If you're doing what's right, why worry about people who criticize you without understanding? Section 36. At a shared meal, just because you can take the biggest portion doesn't mean you should. Think about being considerate to others, not just filling your stomach. Remember to show respect to your host and consider others at the table. Section 37. Don't pretend to be something you're not. If you try to play a role that's beyond you, you'll fail at it and miss the chance to be good at being yourself. Section 38. Just like you watch where you step to avoid hurting your foot, be careful not to harm your mind. If we protected our thoughts and values as carefully as we protect our feet, we'd make better decisions. Section 39. Your body tells you how much stuff you really need, like your foot tells you what size shoe fits. Stay within what you need, and you'll be fine. Go beyond that, and you'll keep wanting more and more. It's like a shoe. Once you stop caring about the fit, you start wanting gold trim, then purple dye, then jewels. Once you start wanting more than you need, there's no end to it. Section 40. When people notice they're mainly valued for their physical appeal, they start focusing on their looks and put all their hopes there. Instead, we should help them understand that true respect comes from showing dignity in their behavior and quiet strength of character. Section 41. Don't spend too much time obsessing over physical things like exercise, food, or other bodily needs. Take care of these things as needed, but focus your energy on developing your mind and understanding. Section 42. When someone treats you badly or criticizes you, remember, they're acting on what they believe is right. They can only act on what seems right to them, not what seems right to you. If they're working with wrong information, they're really hurting themselves by being mistaken. When someone insults you, stay calm and think. That's how they see it. Section 43. Every situation can be viewed 2 ways, one that makes it easier to handle and one that makes it harder. If a family member wrongs you, don't focus on the wrong. That just makes it harder to deal with. Instead, focus on your connection, their family. You grew up together. This makes the situation easier to handle. Section 44. Watch out for faulty logic like, I have more money, so I'm better than you, or I speak better, so I'm superior. The only true statements would be, I have more money, so I own more things, or I speak better, so my words flow better. But remember, you are neither your possessions nor your words. Section 45. Don't judge others without understanding their reasons. If someone eats quickly, just notice they eat quickly. Don't call it wrong. If someone drinks a lot, just notice the amount. Don't judge it as bad. Unless you fully understand why they're doing something, you can't know if it's wrong. Section 46. Don't go around telling everyone you're wise or talking too much about your beliefs. Show them through your actions instead. At dinner, don't lecture about how to eat. Just eat well. If people ask you to share wisdom, share it humbly. If discussions about deep topics come up, mostly listen. There's danger in sharing half-formed thoughts. If someone says you know nothing and you stay calm, that shows you're truly learning. It's like sheep. They don't show the shepherd how much grass they ate, they turn it into wool and milk. Don't show off your knowledge, show what you've done with it. Section 47. If you learn to live simply, don't brag about it. Don't go around saying, I only drink water, or I live on very little. Think about people who have less. They often manage with much less and handle hardship better. If you want to practice self-discipline, do it privately. If you're really thirsty, just take a small sip of water. No need to tell anyone about it. Section 48. Here's the difference between types of people. Regular folks think their happiness depends entirely on other people and external things. Wise people understand their happiness depends on their own choices and attitudes. People growing in wisdom don't criticize, praise, blame, or accuse others. They don't brag about themselves or their knowledge. When something goes wrong, they look at their own role in it. When praised, they smile quietly. When criticized, they don't get defensive. They're like someone recovering from illness, careful not to undo their progress. They control their wants, avoid what interferes with good choices, and stay balanced. They don't mind if others think they're slow or uninformed. Most importantly, they watch their own behavior carefully, like keeping an eye on someone who might cause trouble. Section 49. When someone brags about understanding difficult writings, think to yourself, if these writings weren't so hard to understand, this person would have nothing to brag about. Ask yourself what you really want. Probably to understand life and live well. If you need help understanding complex ideas, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. But just understanding the words isn't the point. Using those lessons in your life is what matters. If you only focus on understanding the words, you're just becoming good at reading, not at living wisely. If someone asks you to explain wise teachings, you should feel embarrassed if you can't show how these ideas work in your own life. Section 50. Once you set your principles, stick to them like they're laws you can't break. Don't worry about what others say about you. That's not your concern. Why keep waiting to become your best self? Why keep ignoring what reason tells you is right? You've learned good principles and worked with them. What other teacher are you waiting for? You're not a child anymore. You're grown. If you keep being lazy, always putting things off, always saying, I'll start tomorrow, you'll end up achieving nothing and die without ever growing wiser. Right now, decide you're worthy of living as a mature, developing person. Let what you know is best become your unbreakable law. When faced with pain, pleasure, fame, or shame, remember, this is your moment of truth, your Olympic moment. You can't postpone it. One failure or success can make all the difference. This is how Socrates became great, by learning from everything and following reason. Even if you're not Socrates, live like someone trying to become wise. Section 51. In philosophy, there are 3 levels in order of importance. First, applying principles in real life, like don't lie. Second, understanding why, as in why shouldn't we lie. Third, understanding the logic behind it all. What makes something true or false? What makes an argument valid? The third helps understand the second, which helps with the first. But the first, actually living well, is most important. Yet we often do the opposite. We spend all our time discussing logic while still lying, ready to prove why lying is wrong even as we do it. Keep these sayings ready. Guide me, universe, and you too, destiny, wherever you have determined my path to be. I'll follow with purpose, and even if I resist, I would still have to follow, just with more pain and less grace. Those who accept what must be with dignity are considered wise and understand life's deeper laws. And remember these words: if this is how things must be, then let it be so. They may be able to affect my life, but they cannot truly harm who I am. If you've enjoyed this video and want to discover more ways to transform your dreams into reality, don't forget to give us a like and hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell to stay updated with all our latest content. Remember, every step you take is a step towards achieving your dreams. So until next time, dare to dream, dare to do, and keep your ambition alive.